Hey Mindy, my name is Julia. I was watching one of your videos on adoption, or what the adoption process, and if you're wondering why my hair looks, yeah, I'm also in the midst of doing your Bantu knots things to make my hair curly. Anyway, and at the end of the video you had asked if anyone was adopted or if they had their own adoption story. And I'm 14. I turned 14 on April 7th. And so I'm going to kind of share my view on how adoption was. I don't necessarily remember how old I was when my parents told me I was adopted. My mom said that I was 4 when she told me, but I didn't really understand. I was like, okay, so you're not my real mom, but you're my mom, so hi mom, kind of thing. So, probably around like age 9 or 10 is when I actually like figured out, oh, okay, I get it, yeah. And so that's when I actually started like talking to my parents about it. And my older brother, his name's Alex, he's 15. He was also adopted, but we don't have the same biological parents. And both of adoptions were open. And Alex and I were both born in Washington. I live in Oregon. I don't know why I pointed up. I'm thinking. Anyway. And so his adoption is very, very open. Like, almost every spring break he goes up and visits his mom and all this. And I hate to say it, but I'm jealous of him. I've met my mom in real life twice. Like, I've only talked to her face-to-face twice. My brother sees his mom almost every year. And last year, I met my birth mom, my biological mom, at the Portland Zoo for about 5 hours. And I met my half-brother, Brennan. And they live in Europe, in Czechoslovakia, I think. And so I don't get to see them that much. But you always, like, growing up being adopted is pretty much normal until, like, sometimes you get those few people who are like, oh, you were adopted, your parents didn't want you, blah, blah, blah. And it hurts. It's like, well, I never looked at it that way. And then in 2010, I think one of my friends, who was my best friend, she was like, you were adopted? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, oh, you were probably a failed abortion. And that hurt. To this day, me and her are still not friends. Granted, I go to a different school now, but you get those every once in a while. But there's also those people that you get that are like intrigued and they want to know so much more about adoption. And I love telling people about my being adopted because I think it's cool. I'm like, oh, I have 2 parents, or 2 sets of parents. I only know my biological mom. I don't know my birth dad. He was Mexican, so I'm half Mexican. And my brother's birth father, he doesn't know his birth father either. He is a half African American and half Mexican. And so my brother is half American, quarter African American, and a quarter Mexican. So we both kind of have the different colors going on here. But it doesn't affect my life as much as I was thinking. I was like, oh, like, you're not my parents, I'm not even going to look at you guys as my parents anymore. But it's not really that at all. It's like, they're the people that supply me with a home, food, clothes, the necessities. So I couldn't picture anyone else being my parent. And my mom was in the room when I was born, the mom that I live with now. She also cut my umbilical cord. And then she took me home from the hospital. And my dad was in the military, so we moved a lot. we moved every 3 years, but he finally retired after 26 years. And now he is a nurse, and we're living in Oregon and have a wonderful life. And I hope I can get to see my birth mom more. But I don't know. Hopefully I can see her this summer. But yeah, this was just my shared video for my adoption. And I'm sick, so my voice is very not